Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Keith Engle here for TGI Sports Talk's MLB update. How's everybody doing today? It's a sunny, chilly day here in the Northeast, but we're happy to have you with us. We welcome everybody watching on the McGrath Podcast Network, everybody watching on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Wherever you might be watching, we certainly appreciate you joining us in all the groups that allow us to share all our shows, which you see some of our favorites scrolling at the bottom of the screen always. John Gonzalez at the Sports Authorities, Greg Rawlings from America's Pastime, Flo and Can from the Bottom Line Sports, Let's Talk Sports, Tanner D and the guys, Golf Bud Sorts of All Sorts, Ken Krause over there, and a quick shout out to Ralph Williams at RW Media. Ralph does some great stuff, specifically the Sports Corner from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday with Smokin' Jim Frazier. I was a guest there this past Tuesday, by the way. If you want to check that out on my page, you can certainly do that. And again, congratulations to our co-host on Jack and Keith's Weekend Playbook, Jack Hirsch, who is now the official biographer of Michael Spinks. Check out his new book, Michael Jinx Spinks. You can get it at, or you get it on Amazon. Just go look for Michael Jinx Spinks and you'll find it. I put the link up several times and probably will again on our pages. So congratulations there. Major League Baseball is underway, guys, and the excitement is real. We had some interesting performances, by the way. And I'm going to do my MLB predictions. We'll give you division by division. We'll give you the wild cards. We'll give us our ALCS, NLCS predictions, World Series, and all the awards. Well, most of the awards as well. As we go through this show, and you guys can certainly give your predictions. If you want to go to the website and post them for posterity, we'd be happy to print them out and save them. If you don't want to do that, then you know what, we won't remember a month from now who you picked, and you can make your changes then. So enjoy. Who's with us right now, by the way? Hello, JB. Good to have you with us. With WBC hangover, skiing shelled, golden sombrero for Judge, Gunner hitless. I don't know. You know, it's funny you say that, JB. Jack and I were talking about this morning, and I said this first week we'll hear, I don't think it's a WBC hangover even a little bit. Also, by the way, Jackson Churio went on the disabled list for a month. And there's some other guys banged up. Look at it. Let's not use a WB. I don't think you are. I hope you're not. But actually, you can if you'd like. I don't think the WBC is any excuse for poor starts or even the injuries. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. If you're going to start slow, you're going to start slow. A few things I want to get into before I get into my predictions. There were some interesting things. Skeens had his shortest outing ever. We talked about yesterday. Jacob Mizorowski and a bunch of relievers combined for 20 strikeouts. 10 teams have struck out 20 or more. Only 4 pitchers have done it by themselves, though. Again, a way to point out how the game has changed. Clemens did it twice. Roger Clemens did it twice. Kerry Wood did it. Randy Johnson. And also Max Scherzer, I believe, is the 4th pitcher that did it. So anyway, kudos. To me, it's still an accomplishment, I guess, but it's certainly not as outstanding as when an individual pitcher does it, which we'll probably not see again, at least while I'm alive. McGonigal, who is going to be, you'll find out, is my front runner for the American League Rookie of the Year, had 4 hits yesterday to get started. I'm going to talk about Kyle Tucker, who had a good start with the Dodgers, but an interesting play to, again, unintended consequences of replay, I guess. How teams are learning how to manipulate it. And it's interesting. We'll talk about it a little bit, not a lot. Well, I'll put it right out there. Because ABS started yesterday, or Wednesday, officially launched. And I know that I'm in the minority here. Believe me, I understand every play, every pitch has got to be called right. We don't care that everything gets bastardized. You know, replay wasn't meant to call guys out who pick their foot up a millimeter off the bag when they're sliding to second base, but that's what it's become. And that's really exciting to watch and really important to the game. But ABS is here, and there could be unintended. Listen, what happens in the World Series when you lose? If you don't think you're going to lose something, I really hope this happens this year, by the way. I hope the World Series comes down to a 3-2 pitch, and somebody's guessing, because nobody's got that great an eye. Somebody's guessing on 3-2, and it's called a strike, and the team is celebrating and going crazy. And then we got this little cartoon movie up on the screen, and it shows that it missed by 1/100th of an inch because the guy's got such a good eye. No, he guessed right. And then we have to go back and do it all over again. I can't wait. I really hope that happens. Now, with that said, I really don't have an argument because you umpires suck. And until you're going to take your jobs more seriously, or the guys who are good, and there's plenty of you out there, my good friend Dale Scott, don't get mad at me. Your brethren make everybody look bad. Just like anything like union jobs, right? The guys who are protected by the union and stink make the other guys look bad. So anyway, ABS is here. And there's always going to be ways to manipulate it. I don't like the fact that what if the guy who's measured all these guys, what if he sucks as bad as the umpires? Think about that. The strike zones will all be wrong. But an interesting byproduct of replay happened yesterday too, is the Dodgers, I think this happened yesterday, right? Did this happen yesterday? I want to make sure it did. Because the more I think about it, it could have happened a couple days ago. Dodgers Diamondbacks, yeah. So the Dodgers scored a run on a base hit. I guess it was a sacrifice fly, and the runner from third tagged and was going to score, and Kyle Tucker went from second to third on the same play, and they were going to appeal. So this wasn't replay, right? I guess actually, the more I think about it, I guess replay would come into play. But before they could ask for the replay, Kyle Tucker took off for home plate and got himself in a rundown. It was out. That's the ball's in play. You can no longer challenge the previous play. So again, as this thing evolves, we get more and more screwy plays that are just going to mess with the game. That's really the intention, right? Of having these replays and whatnot. Anyway, I don't want to get into a whole thing about that. Red Sox bunting to score runs. I love the small ball. So congratulations to your Red Sox. It's one game. I wouldn't get excited, right? I'm not excited about the Yankees' big win the other night, but again, I listen. I'm the only one who doesn't like it. It's fast unless they're right every. So if the more the umpires suck, by the way, the less fast it is because you don't lose any challenges. And if you just continue to get it right, the game's going to be longer. So you're right. I mean, it's fast, but if it happens 20 times in a game, which is unlikely, I mean, you're going to add 10 minutes to the game. So anyway, look, my arguments about ABS are about over. I just want to point out there are going to be unintended consequences, just like there is in replay. And if you don't think so, then you're kind of fooling yourselves. Before I get into some predictions and whatnot, I want to point out too that Netflix had their first baseball game the other night with the official opening day game, the Yankees and the Giants at 8:20. Can't play day games anymore either, by the way, for opening day. It's somewhere in somebody's rule book. But it was an abomination. Again, I got into a little dispute with Jack this morning, and I'm sure there's people out there who aren't, the grumpy old man on his front step like me yelling at kids to get off their lawn. I don't need gimmicks. I need baseball. I don't need you talking to. It's bad enough we got to talk to umpires managers in the dugout while the game's going on, and all the networks do that now. But I'm going to pick out one thing that I think is a total abomination. And Netflix, Fox, Apple TV, whoever you are, Yes Network, You're there to chronicle the game. Show me the game. Tell me what's happening. You're not there to become part of the game. And that's going to happen because Netflix made themselves part of the game. And remember, this is a regular season game. This wasn't an exhibition. This wasn't the All-Star game. Players are mic'd up. They talked to Jazz Chisholm for the entire top half of, I want to say, the fifth inning. The entire top half of the fifth inning while he played second base. And he's emotional. Pitchers are going on. You can tell me that he's totally 100% focused on that game as he's talking to three freaking bozos in the booth. So now the broadcast teams have become part of the game. Why is the game? If the game isn't good enough for people, then let them stay away. I get it. I'm not the demographic they want. Hey, we're only the guys with all the money, right? You keep going after Gen Z and Gen Alpha or whatever the frick generation we're into. Us baby boomers who lived through the game becoming as big as it is and helped it with our attendance and our spending our hard-earned dollars will just continue to be ignored that because we just want to watch baseball and not watch frickin' worldwide WWE wrestling. Rant over. Jesus Christ. I mean, come on. It was basically unwatchable. And the production value wasn't that good. Their center field camera looked like the fog had rolled in Candlestick in a beautiful evening. And you need about 6 subscriptions, by the way, if you want to watch your team every game. So I'm a Yankee fan, right? So I've got to have my cable subscription to have the Yes Network to watch most of the games. I've got to have ESPN, which most people get with their basic cable, so that's not that big a deal. You've got to have Apple TV. You've got to have Prime TV. You've got to have Netflix now. And I feel like there's one more that I'm missing. Maybe it's just 4. I thought it was 5. Subscriptions you had to have to watch games today. Where'd I see that? Oh, it's just so frustrating, man. And again, I hate to be so angry on opening day. It's no 2 words are more fun for me than play ball. But come on, man. Yeah, I don't know where I saw that article was talking about whatever. The deal is you're not going to know where games are. It's almost impossible. I just want to sit down and watch a game. I can't find it. And then when I do find it, I'm watching Jazz Chisholm being freaking interviewed while he's playing second base. Are you absolutely kidding me now? I apologize. Mostly. But we do have baseball, a lot of fun. No day games today. We'll get on board with some games tonight. Yankees, Giants continue. Mets and Pirates continue. A couple of my surprise teams in here will be included in these games. So we're going to get started. We're going to go through, and you're not going to be happy with me, AC. I can see that. But JB, you should be. And this is pretty much, a lot of this is what I did with Jack on Monday, but I'm also going to dive into award season and whatnot. So let's start in the American League East. And hopefully the clips can pick me up as I go American League East and then the next. American League East. Blue Jays repeat. Blue Jays might get off to a slow start as they along with some others, have starters hurt. But I think the Blue Jays will hit enough and certainly pitch enough to I like you, Savage, by the way. When he gets healthy, if I thought he pitched the whole year, he'd be my rookie of the year pick, but he's not. So we'll leave him out. But I think the Blue Jays win. The Yankees will push them. If the Yankees, again, I've got the Yankees second. And as a Yankee fan, I'm hesitant to do so only because we're running it back. We got to expect guys to have as good or in some cases better years than they had last year. We got to expect guys to get healthy who were hurt last year. A lot of things to expect. Got to expect Aaron Boone to be a better manager. Anyway, I got the Yankees second. I do have the Orioles a very close third. In fact, I think the Red Sox will be a close fourth. I think these four teams are going to be very bunched up. And at the end of the day, it's even possible they get 3 wild cards. Possible. But the Rays are going to have to be bad enough. You're going to have some really bad teams in other divisions for that to happen, and I think it's not going to. I think the Red Sox don't make the playoffs, but I think the Orioles do. I think the Orioles have enough pitching. Man, I almost took Shane Baz as I want a dark horse for Cy Young. Shane Baz would be a guy to think about. So got under the radar. I got an over-under with a bunch of my friends interested in what you think. Keith Soto, over under 45 home runs. That's a good number. It's tough. I don't know that Citi Field is that great a home run threat. I would say the under is a better bet here. Yes. Listen, he could hit 60. But I think it's more likely he hits 44 than he hits, 50 or 60 home runs. Because he's not a home run hitter in the sense that Aaron Judge and Ohtani are. So I would agree with that. Streaming in sports does suck, by the way. Yeah, it does. I mean, again, look at, do you get to see every game? Yeah. You have to get the MLB package to do it. No, I guess you could do that, but I don't even know how the streaming affects that. I'm sure there's some games that are blacked out in local markets that you wouldn't be able to watch on the MLB package. So I don't really know. JB Bradish, dark horse. It's another one. Listen, to the Orioles, I like a lot. If their pitching holds up, I think the Orioles do very, very well. I expect Gunnar. JB mentioned him at the top of the show. I think Gunnar comes back, and I think he's an MVP candidate. By the time I get to MVP, I may change my mind and put Gunnar there. We'll see. But I'm not there just yet. So anyway, Blue Jays, Yankees, Orioles, Red Sox, all close. And the Rays getting back into Tropicana Field maybe can rekindle some of their low-budget magic, but I don't see it happening. In the AL Central, Tigers just too much pitching, in my mind. Framber Valdez added to Skubal. Skubal's going to be there the whole year. Excuse me. He's in his walk year, stays healthy. He's certainly going to want to have a big year. Well, that's kind of a silly thing to say. I don't know why I always, fall into that. It's a cliche, basically, right? Guys in their walk year want to have big years. Well, they want to don't guys want to have big years all the time? Skubal's in his walk year. The Tigers will not be looking to trade him at the deadline because there's no way they're going to be out of this. This division is still not very good. I think the Royals are much better. I think the Tigers probably will comfortably win this division. I do think the Royals' offense looks really good, and I think they will score a bunch of runs. If their pitching holds up, I think they'll finish second and win possibly a wild card. The Indians, the team formerly known as the Indians. I don't want to get called a racist again. The Indians, they did nothing in the offseason. The team was good, but not very good last year. I don't think they have enough firepower to make a move. In fact, I think they'd probably be happy to hold off the White Sox and the Twins, possibly. White Sox, I think, will be better. They're not going to be losing 100 games, I don't think, and they certainly won't be chasing records. In fact, I think there's a very good chance that White Sox finish ahead of the Twins and the Twins finish last in this division. Twins don't know what they want to be right now. They got some good players, but with Lopez out, I think the pitching's just short. I love Joe Ryan. Could be traded at the deadline. Who knows? So I like the Tigers to win that division. I like the Royals to finish second. And we'll talk about the wild card in just a few minutes. In the Out west, I do have a surprise in this division. Not at the top. I like the Mariners a lot. Their pitching is too good. If the George Kirby's healthy, George Kirby's another guy. Watch out, Cy Young, dark horse. He's not even their ace right now. At least he's not even their number one starter. That's how good this. I mean, he's the number 2 starter. But look, if their starters stay healthy and Wu is like your 5th starter or 4th starter, and maybe Luis? Jesus, I'm not even forgetting his freaking name now. I'm probably going to take a chance here on this being correct. Castillo's the 4th starter there. Bryce Miller, sorry, Wu would be 3rd, and Miller, who's really good, would be your fifth starter, and he's hurt right now, but he should get healthy. If they score enough runs, Cal Raleigh's going to take a step back. We know that. I think we know that. Maybe he'll do the same thing he did. It's highly doubtful, but I mean, Cal Raleigh with 35 to 45 home runs and 100 RBIs and playing great defense behind the plate, still a great player. Josh Naylor, re-signing him was very important to this team. I think Julio Rodriguez bounces back with an MVP type season. I didn't say he was going to win it. I think Luke Raley steps up a little bit. J.P. Crawford maybe improves his offense to go along with the good defense. Cole Young, if not Brandon Donovan, are good enough at second base. The pitching's good. Get a little bit of run support. Best team in the American League. My surprise here is I think the A's finish second. And partly because I expect the Astros to take a step back. I'm not a big fan of the Rangers, the way they're put together here. I mean, you look at the Rangers. Starting staff. I think there's a very good chance Rangers fall out of this. Evaldi gets traded. It might be a Met. Who knows? Mackenzie Gore, nice pickup from Washington. Jack Leiter, though, and Kumar Rocker, who I liked last year to win the Rookie of the Year, he doesn't feel like a guy who's ready to get over the hump. So the back end of this rotation, I don't think is that strong with Leiter and Rocker. They may come into their own. And DeGrom is an injury waiting to happen. We know that. Not crazy about the bullpen. I'm not crazy about the offense. I'm certainly not crazy about the defense. Berger, Smith, Young at third base gives you a decent glove, and Seager at shortstop is getting older. The defense is not very good. I don't think the outfield defense is that good. Langford's okay. Carter in center field. Brandon Nemo's not going to be anybody's idea of a Gold Glove winner. He'll hit more home runs down there. I'm not a big fan of the way this team's put together. So I think they step back. I think the Astros are getting long in the tooth. They've managed to, stem off the window slamming shut on them. I think this year it might slam shut. And then the Angels are the Angels, right? I mean, good God. Artie Moreno, this is the worst run organization, maybe in sports, quite frankly. Maybe they win more games than the Rockies and some other teams, the White Sox lately, but they're the worst run organization in baseball. When your owner says, our fans don't care about winning, it's not even in their top 5 priorities. What are you drinking? He's safety, entertainment, safety, affordability, and he listed 2 other things I don't remember now. But if you don't think winning matters to fans, then you are totally tone deaf, and you will never win because you don't think it's important. It means it's not a priority for you. Look, it's fan safety, affordability, all that's important. But those are also excuses, especially affordability, excuses for you not to spend money and put a winning roster together. So this team is destined to finish in the cellar. Kurt Suzuki, you make him a lame duck manager the minute you sign him. You sign him for 1 year. I feel bad for Kurt Suzuki. I mean, hopefully, because I like him. He's a good baseball man. He's been around, played for a long time, knows the game, obviously. And I hope they win enough that they give him a long-term contract. Or, he wins enough where he can get another job at some point. And this doesn't, tarnish him forever managing this team at this time. So that's the American League. I'll give you my wild cards now, and then we'll go to the playoff. I'll get to the ALCS after. My wild cards, Yankees. Listen, again, Yankees could fall apart. Yankees, and I'm a Yankee fan. I don't wear just rose-colored glasses, man. They need a lot of things to go right. They need Fried to pitch like he pitched opening day. They need Cole to get healthy. They need Bellinger to repeat last year. They need Grisham to be some semblance of what he was last year. They need Grindal to hit lefties better than Dominguez did last year. They need improved offense out of third base. They need Bird to show he's a real deal. And they need pitchers to get healthy and Volpe to get healthy. And they need to stop wiring up Jazz Chisholm for interviews while he's playing second base. Anyway, I think the Yankees get the first wild card. Royals and Orioles will battle for that second and third wild card, but I think they both make the playoffs. The Orioles with a really, really sweet turnaround, I think, under their first-year manager. Okay. Over to the East. National League East. I like the Phillies. Still a lot of pitching. Nola pitched well in the WBC. Nola didn't pitch great last year. Velocity was down. Sometimes guys get older, they learn how to pitch more than just throw. And I think Nola still will be an effective pitcher. Wheeler, if healthy, is still one of the best pitchers in the National League, if not all baseball. I like the lineup still, and I think getting a bad apple like Castellanos out of town, bad apple in the mind that a lot of people, including the manager, were not big fans of Castellanos in Philadelphia. So I think this is I like some of the pieces of this team. I still like Alex Baum. The Yankees tried to get Alex Baum the last couple of winters to play third base. He didn't play as great as his first half 2 years ago was off the charts, and he hasn't played that well since. But I do think this team still will. I think they'll still win this division. I think the Mets could push them, but the Mets again are another team that need lots to go right. If we're to look at their lineup, a lot's going to hinge on their rookie. Hits a home run yesterday, by the way. Benj, again, I mean the pronunciation I've got to get down. I'm sure, but he hits a home run yesterday. He's got the right field job. They need Luis Robert, and he is a good candidate to bounce back. Considered him for the National League Comeback Player of the Year, but I'm not going to make that pick. They might need Soto to go over the 45 home runs that AC was talking about. And you got a bunch of guys. You got two guys in the infield playing new positions. And Bo Bichette, who I've heard mixed reviews this year that he was picking up. Hello, Michael. Good to have you with it. Or that's Matt. Sorry. Read that name wrong. Hello, Matt. How are you? Bo Bichette, I've heard multiple things, as I said, about that he's picked up third base like a fish out of water, and I've also heard that he struggled. So I don't know what to believe. We'll see. Proof is in the pudding. But he's out of position. Polanco, hasn't played an inning of first base before the spring training. And first base is not a defenseless position. It's not a place you can just hide guys. Years ago, we did this. First base is an important defensive position. But there's some upside here, right? If Nolan McLean steps up, and I've got him as a rookie of the year candidate, If he steps up, if this pitching and Senga's healthy, they're going to pitch 6 men in a rotation, at least early in the season. Maybe not early in the season because there's off days, but at some point they're going to go to a 6-man rotation. Freddie Peralta is a good offseason addition. Alvarez showed you yesterday what he can do on both defense and offense. The Mets are kind of a wild card for me, and they will be a wild card pick for me. But I've got them finishing second in this division. The Braves just don't have enough pitching. As I said, the Braves lineup, I think, is still really good, especially if Acuna's healthy. I mean, he's that good that he can, anchor that lineup and make them so much better, obviously. Matt Olson still has some pop in his bat. Ozzy Albies is, a competent Major League second baseman. Austin Riley had a bad year last year. He's a candidate for comeback player of the year. Not crazy about the outfield. Acuna healthy is a big deal, obviously. They need Murphy to be healthy behind the plate. Michael Harris needs to really kind of meet the hype that he had a couple of years ago. Played better kind of off the bench as a fourth outfielder than he has as a starter. But Mike Yastrzemski is also the starter in left field, at least against righties. And he's not his grandfather. But the real pitching here, the real problem lies in the pitching. With, some of the young pitchers hurt. Strider's hurt. What's his name? Trying to think of, let me find his name here because I'll say it wrong. He's one of those names I can't say unless I'm looking at it. Schwellenbach, again, he's probably going to miss the year, I would say. So when your most reliable pitcher on your staff is, what'd I do? How'd I lose my, there it is. When the most reliable pitcher on your starting staff is Chris Sale, who's an injury waiting to happen as well. I mean, he's pitched well since he's been in Atlanta, obviously. Great at some points, but I don't think there's enough pitching here. I'm not crazy about the bullpen. I like the move for Robert Suarez to Iglesias. I don't think is that good closing. But I see the Braves being third. And the Nationals and the Marlins just are not good. I think the Marlins will finish ahead of the Nationals. The Nationals, I did pick them to finish fourth just because I think the Marlins may take a step back. They never know what they want to do. They've got some good young players, but they don't do anything with them. So I would expect them to take a step back. And I think maybe the Nationals finish ahead of them, play a game or something. In the Central, this is one place Jack and I had a real discrepancy, by the way, especially at the bottom. I got the Cubs winning the division. Not because I think they're that great, by the way, but, I like the acquisition of Bregman. I think Dansby Swanson's still a good player. They just extended Nico Horner, who's a very competent player. I like some of their pitchers. If they get Justin Steele back, I think this team is in really good shape, especially given the division that they're playing in. Because I see the Brewers. Good afternoon, Rick. I see the Brewers who won this division last year taking a step back, and maybe a big step back because I've got the Pirates. Yes, the Pittsburgh Pirates finishing second in this division. The Pirates didn't make earth-shattering moves over the winter, but when Connor Griffin gets up, and he's not going to be in the minors for long, by the way, he's going to be a Rookie of the Year candidate, assuming he doesn't sit there and languish until July. But Paul Skeens, forget about yesterday. It's the shortest outing as a major leaguer, and it's just a blip on the radar. Mitch Keller's competent. Bubba Chandler pitched well in spots last year. Ashcroft, I think, has some potential, but Connor Griffin's going to get up there and be in this rotation at some point. The bullpen is kind of no names, and I think there's some potential there. We're going to have to see what happens. But the lineup is much better. Ryan O'Hearn is going to play a lot in the outfield, the first base at DH. He's been a competent Oriole fans remember him. He played with the Padres the last 2 years. Brandon Lowe, I think, at second base was a great pickup for this team. They've got young kids. Gonzalez at shortstop, and if they play well, Trilio at third base. O'Neill Cruz in center field continues to get better. They picked up Osuna, so they got some pop in this lineup. So some of these kids play well, especially in the bullpen and around that infield. This team could surprise. Again, I have them second. That doesn't mean I got them winning, 95 games. Second place here might be 80 or 82 wins. Is Volpe out for a while? Volpe's out for probably a good portion of April. They knew that was going to happen before the season. We talked. I'll go back to the Yankees if we have some time at the end. I did the American League East already, but I'll go back. Volpe is out probably for April. He might come back before May, but again, they knew this was going to happen all winter. You're going to see Caballero over there. McMahon is a competent third baseman, but is never going to hit enough. And Rosero will hold down the right-hand side of that platoon over there. So, listen, I picked the Yankees second and a wild card. And it was a stretch for me to do it, quite frankly. As a Yankee fan, I want to be wrong. I want this team to hit on all cylinders. Back to the NL Central. So I got the Cubs, the Pirates, then the Brewers. I think the Brewers have taken a step back. Where are they? For whatever reason, they traded their third baseman, who finished third in the Rookie of the Year voting, to the Red Sox. I like their lineup if it gets healthy. I guarantee you, though, Mizorowski's going to be on extreme pitch limits, guaranteed. Woodruff, too, coming back from injury the end of last year. Priester's hurt right now. I don't like the back end of this rotation at all. Trevor McGill is okay as a closer. Again, closers are like, you never know what you're going to get. I'm not crazy. Other than Turan, I'm not crazy about the infield at all. I like Turan a lot. Andrew Vaughn, I think you've seen the best of him in Chicago, and he'll hit some home runs. I think he's a liability on defense and doesn't do much for you otherwise. Jake Bowers is starting in this outfield. Churio's out for a month, which is going to put Garrett Mitchell or one of the other younger guys in this lineup. Frelick, who's a good, competent, better off as a fourth outfielder in my mind. And you got Yelich in the outfield and at DH. This team takes a step backwards in my mind. And, of course, I've got here's where it gets interesting. I have the Reds finishing last. I've got the Cardinals, who are in total rebuild mode. Although I do like their second baseman. I think he'll finish. I think he'll win the Rookie of the Year, which we'll talk about in a second. But I think the Reds finish last. I think the Reds are undisciplined. I think the Reds have too many injuries. I think it's very possible with Terry Francona's health issues that he may step away at some point this year. I think this is Terry Francona's last year. And while there's talent all over the place on this team, and they did a great job picking up Suarez, Eugenie Suarez, great power, but Brian Hayes, who's a really good glove and probably going to put Suarez at DH more often than not, has no pop. Matt McClain, if he's healthy, good player, but you're relying on kids like Stewart at first base. You still got Spencer Steer, Friedel, Marte in the outfield, all young guys. De La Cruz is probably going to have a nice year, but he's going to make a bunch of errors. He's going to steal a bunch of bases and a bunch of home runs and get picked up and get caught a lot stealing. He's not a good, fundamentally sound player. The bullpen's the pitching staff's already in trouble. Lodolo started the season on the DL. We know that Stevenson is out for at least a few months. And I'm not crazy about the bullpen. I think this team is highly overrated, and I got them finishing last. Speaking of the Pirates, Jared Jones, hopefully. Jared Jones is another guy I think you'll see pitching for them here at some point this year in that starting rotation, along with Connor Griffin, who started in the minors. This is going to be a really good starting rotation in my mind by midseason. Maybe the Pirates, I think they finish second. I don't think they're going to win more than 84, 85 games. Might be enough to get a wild card. We'll see. Out west, Dodgers. Don't matter whether they get bored. I mean, they win 115. If they are bored, they win 115 games. They improved the outfield with Kyle Tucker. The outfield's they're getting a little long in the tooth. Again, that's a little bit of a concern. But Kyle Tucker improves that outfield. Edwin Diaz improves that bullpen. And if Tanner comes back, I mean, you've all of a sudden got a great bullpen. You know, Tanner Scott, Terrain, and Diaz, and then some of these other guys. So you got a bunch of starters. They got starter on top of starters. They got a bunch of guys starting on the DL and Blake Snell. But you still got Yamamoto. You got Ohtani's going to pitch more than you think, I would say. Danny Fuller was talking the other day that in LA they're talking about him pitching every sixth day. Him I get protecting him and his bat, and maybe going to 6-run rotation. I don't get the Mets doing it to protect Senga. Glasnow's back. Emmett Sheehan had a nice spring. Plus, there's guys, sitting there again. They have the luxury, the Dodgers, to do what they did last year and have guys just sit on this DL until they need them. Blake Snell, Bobby Miller, Gavin Stone, Tommy Edmonds starts a year on the DL. He'll be an important part of this team. So I think this team, again, boredom's the only thing that can stop them from winning the division. The big surprise for me is going to be in this division, and maybe it's not a surprise, but I think the Giants will finish second in this division and make a wild card. I like the top of the rotation. I like Logan Webb. I like Robbie Ray, who's really rebounded from injury, and he's pitching well again. They got some inning eaters, which is a term I hate, but they got some inning eaters at the back of this rotation. I like Ryan Walker as the closer. And I like some of the kids. I like Casey Schmidt. I think Araz was a good pickup for them as well. Matt Chapman, I think, will have a better year than last year. Still a good glove. Willie Adames is a bounce-back candidate. You're counting out a lot of guys who are role players, but Tony Vitello, I think, is going to really bring some energy to this organization and on the field and get guys to buy into their roles. Harrison Bader, Lee, Devers is an important piece of this puzzle, obviously, as they don't have a lot of bats. If they hit enough, I think this team finishes second. If they don't, they might finish last. But I'm going to pick them second, and they make a wild card. I like them a lot. Crazy name the field. What? I'm lost there, Matt. What is that? Not good. Oh, there you go. Oh, Japanese clother. Yeah, well, money talks, man. Give me enough money, I'll name my infield after you or my field after you. Sports today. I got the Padres finishing. I'm sorry, I got the D-backs. The D-backs finishing third. I still like their pitching. I think there'll be some bounce backs in that pitching staff. Torey Lovullo is a good manager. I think they've got enough to finish ahead of the Padres, who never seem to meet potential. Pitchers are always hurt already. Musgrove's hurt. Darvish is hurt. We don't know what we're going to get out of them. They're going to have to hit their way into the playoffs if they do that. And I think they finish fourth and don't do that. And then, of course, the Rockies last. And my wild cards here, I've got the Giants with a wild card. I've got the Mets with a wild card. And while I picked the A's to do better in the American League West, I don't have them making the playoffs. I do have Pittsburgh sneaking into the playoffs in the National League. So we'll see how that works out. Listen, here's some Bader, and I have this discussion with my brother-in-law, Drew, all the time. You know, he's not a Bader fan. I am. Again, that's looking at numbers. You look at numbers, there's really nothing to be impressed with Bader about. But when you watch him play, he plays like a baseball player. That's all I can say, right? The eye test means a lot to me. Health has not been in his been in the cards for him a lot. But I like Bader a lot. Back to his Cardinal days. So I think he'll be a big plus for this Giant team in center field if he stays healthy. ALCS, Blue Jays and Mariners come back. Yankees get knocked out. Royals and Orioles all get knocked out in the playoffs. Rematch of the Blue Jays and the Mariners. And the Mariners this time, that pitching staff controls the Blue Jay bats. And Vlad Guerrero, who had a huge postseason. See if he carries that over to a huge regular season. But I think the Mariners control Vlad's bat and the Blue Jays bats, gets to the World Series. In the National League, Mets and Pittsburgh, I see getting eliminated. And also, by the way, the Tigers also obviously get eliminated in playoffs in the American League. I think the Phillies get eliminated. I think the Mets, I think Pittsburgh get eliminated. I think the Cubs get eliminated. You have the Dodgers and the Giants from the West in the ALCS, and you have an exciting 7-game NLCS with the Dodgers squeaking it out, keeping their three-peat. One of the big stories this year, obviously, is the three-peat possibilities for the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers and Giants will have a fun series, but I think the Dodgers win it and face the Mariners. And I think in the World Series, I have the Mariners and that pitching staff, which I promoted last year as better than the Dodgers. And come playoff time, the Dodgers proved they had a better one then. I think the Mariners are healthier. I think George Kirby's healthier. I think Castillo will be better than he was last year. I think if Bryce Miller comes back, that staff is deep. And I think the Mariners are going to beat the Dodgers in an exciting 7-game series. We'll see if that matches up with last year. Hello, Scott Colby. Good to have you with us. Hope you're doing well. Continue to send positive vibe your family's way. So that's it. That's the predictions for the year. Scott, you can bring up what you want. Red Sox, they do not have making the playoffs. I have just to recap that a little bit. I have the Yankees. Blue Jays, Yankees, Orioles, Red Sox, and a very tight 4-team race for both the division and 2 playoff positions. But I have the Red Sox on the outside looking in. I like what the Red Sox did. I like their potential this year, and it could go their way. Again, if the Yankees falter, they could be in the place where I've got the Red Sox. So I want to go to the awards. Who's that? Tan. Trying to look at your profile picture, see if I know you. Welcome to the show. You said that's what you like to hear. You're a Mariners fan? Here's a bet I did tonight. Dodgers, Mariners, Marlins, Mariners, all on a run line, and it's plus 770 price if you want to throw in. The Braves is up to 21.90 on the money line. Oh, the run line. Run lines are tough, man. I got to bet money lines on baseball. The American League East is the best in baseball. Let's go down my award before we run out of time here. Let me run down the awards. The American League MVP. Listen, Judge is going to be in a running. Bobby Witt waiting to break through. Gunnar Henderson, I think, really bounces back with a big year. I'm going to go out I'm going to say Gunnar Henderson wins the MVP. There you go, JB. The Orioles make the playoffs. Gunnar Henderson wins the MVP. If they don't make the playoffs, he probably won't win the MVP. But and if the Royals make it, if the Royals and the Orioles both make it, which I think they will, I think this comes down to Witt and Henderson, and I think Witt wins it. In the National League, I've got Ohtani. I mean, until Ohtani stinks, which I don't know is ever going to happen. I've got Ohtani doing this over again. Is there anybody else that you? I guess the only other guy, Juan Soto's a guy that could probably do it. Maybe the pitchers are never going to win MVPs again because they don't pitch enough, quite frankly. So that's what I have for MVPs. The opponents for each is the D-bats, Rockies, and Guards. I get it. And obviously on money line, I'm not going to get that kind of return. I get that. Good outside pick there, Cam Schlittler. I'm going to go to the Cy Young right now. Plus 350. That's good. Maybe I'll make a little future bet there. I got some money sitting in my DraftKings account. Cy Young. I mean, Scooble's the odds-on favorite in the American League, right? To win his third in a row, which has only happened a couple of times. I think Randy Johnson and Maddox might be the only guys that do it. Crochet's going to have a shot. I'm going outside. I'm taking Hunter Brown from the Astros. I think he's a young guy who's, gotten himself physically healthy, and I think he's ready to take the next step. I'll take Hunter Brown as a surprise winner for the Cy Young in the American League. And Logan Webb, who does nothing but pitch brilliantly. He didn't pitch great the other night, but it's one game. I think Logan Webb gets over the top and beats out Paul Skeens in the American League or the National League. Excuse me. You could also see. I think they're the only two guys I can really see having that type of season. Max Fried has got a shot for the Cy Young too. The problem is I see Fried getting shut down like all these Yankee pitchers probably at some point, long enough that he doesn't win the Cy Young. Cole won't pitch enough probably. He's going to miss at least the first month and then be on a short leash. So he's not going to have a lot of wins, and that doesn't matter anymore, obviously. Look at Skeens and look at DeGrom in some years. Obviously, you don't need to win 20 games to win a Cy Young anymore. All good candidates. Managers of the year. I've got Mark Kotsay in the American League with the A's. They won't make the playoffs, but I think they make a jump to second place. I think the offense is really good. If they get any pitching, this team could be a playoff team. I really think that. Other candidates, I guess Aaron Boone could be a candidate. I hate to say that. Craig Counsell. I'm in the wrong league. Hold on. Schneider, Alex Cora, if the Red Sox do well. Obviously, the Orioles new manager. What's his name, by the way? Where are you? Damn it. They do this differently. That's why. Now I got to scroll the whole freaking thing. I can't remember the manager's name for the Orioles right now, but where is he? There he is. Alvarez. Albernaz. I can't say those names. So anyway, I like Mark Kotsay. And I like Tony Vitello in the National League. A lot of grief given to the Giants and Buster Posey about hiring Vitello, but I like him a lot. And I do think that he wins this award. Dave Roberts is not going to be up for this award because his team is loaded, obviously. We can also talk about, if we're going to talk about big turnarounds, we can't forget Don Kelly, who got the job, I think, on an interim basis last year and kept the job when they fired Shelton. He'll be in the running for this if Pittsburgh has the type of year that I think they'll have and squeeze in a wild card berth. I think that'd be very interesting. Comeback players of the year. I'm going to take if he gets healthy and pitches enough in the National League, Justin Steele I like in the National League. If he doesn't come back and play enough, then Tanner Scott, Sandy Alcantara, Luis Robert, all will be candidates. But I'm going to take Justin Steele. I think he comes back and pitches enough. And in the American League, it'll be Garrett Cole because he pitched great this spring. He's going to sit out the first month or so as the Yankees make sure that he's totally healthy and strong enough. I think he wins the comeback player of the year. So that's all my picks. What do you got? Yamamoto certainly could win the NL Cy Young. I just like Logan Webb. He's pitched well enough to be a Cy Young the last few years, but Paul Skeens' numbers have always, been better. Although Webb, we think he isn't a strikeout pitcher, but he struck out 200 plus guys last year. But Yamamoto's certainly a candidate. You saw in the playoffs how dominant he can be. Plus 135. I didn't bet that. No. I'll look for a future bet. I haven't made any bets yet. Future bets on baseball. Still trying to get through the NCAA playoffs or tournament and whatnot. So still got a future bet alive there. Actually, I got a survivor pool away worth $8,000 still alive with about 100 other people. It really gets tough now because you can't run out of teams to pick. There's a bet for most wins in April. That's a good pick. Plus 1,700. Most wins in April. You got one already. Good job, Scott. So anyway, those are our picks. We covered some of the news. Opening day, we've only got one game played by every team, really. We'll start getting into, following some games and winning streaks and who's playing well and who's not here in the coming weeks, obviously. For now, Netflix, you suck, by the way. Do not be, please, just do me one favor and scrap the interviews of players while they're playing the game. You're waiting to cause a huge disaster. The broadcasters do not need to insert themselves into the game. I'm going to say this until they stop doing it. Now, I know we're not going to see a lot of them, but now I'm interested in see what NBC does on Sunday night and Fox does on Saturday night and ESPN does during the week. We got some new partners, man, and once somebody sees something, they go, wow, that's shiny. Let's try that. ABS is here to stay. I understand that. Let's hope. My World Series scenario is one thing. It's going to happen during the regular season. It's just a matter of how many times, right? As I said, teams are going to have a third strike. It's not a big deal. Game-ending third strike that gets turned into ball four because the guys are just standing around shaking their hands. Anyway, you put them back in position. What about the World Series when he does it and players are jumping around, throwing their gloves and hats in the air and jumping on each other, and now we got to unpile them and put them back in there because the pitch missed by 1/100th of an inch while you're watching that cartoon movie up there. Remember, when this happens in the playoffs, and hopefully not in Game 7 of the World Series, you remember who told you this. I'm resigned to the fact that it's here, and I got to live with it. So, in any effect, guys, a great show. Thanks for popping in. I never got Tan. I never got who his team was. I'm going to guess he's a Mariners fan, which is what his reply was there. But we hope you do pop in again and join us, and hope you guys enjoy this when you watch it on replay and all the groups that allow us to share, the baseball groups and whatnot. You guys have done a great job following the show, all of you, those who come and participate and those who just passively watch. We've been hitting some huge numbers. As we started to put clips up of all the shows, the views are just through the roof, man. I mean, we're talking, 10, 12,000 views between the clips and then the show. Tremendous. Thank you, guys. And we'll see you next week with the MLB update. I'll see you Sunday with the Sunday Stream of Consciousness. You guys have a great weekend. and go Yankees. Bye-bye.